Larissa. Give it up for Larissa. Larissa and the team have been working around the clock to making sure that our families during this power outage and flooding is getting resources. It's been really, really difficult and so hard. So I just can't thank enough my team. In the middle of all this, Bernie's like, I want to come to Detroit. I said, okay, everyone, we got to make this happen. So I just can't thank you all enough for doing such great work. So Bernie, welcome. Welcome to the community that raised me. Why today is so important is it's very rare to get someone that is in such an incredibly important position in Congress. I mean, the chair of the Senate Budget Committee is not wanting to just have hearings in Washington, D.C., but he wants to come here and listen to you all, hear your questions, help you understand what is happening in Washington, D.C. and Congress, especially with reconciliation, this word that somehow I didn't even know anything about until I started saying, well, wait, that's a pathway to making sure my folks have resources they need to getting clean drinking water in the schools? Then yes, I want to know more. And so it's so unbelievably important that Senator Sanders is coming here, and I know he's been in Indiana, and I believe he's going to Ohio and Iowa and all kinds of places. And so he's coming here because he wants to make sure that you understand what's happening in Congress and how it impacts your life. So you all know I've been on the front lines and working on this issue around poverty in our community that is so interconnected with what's happening regarding climate, regarding so much that's happening with our families. You all know I told this story before, but it's so important to know this. One of my parents came up to me in one of our neighborhood service centers. You know, she was in tears. This was some years ago, Senator. And she was in tears, and she was telling me that she needed a new place to send her kids for this pre-K like program, like an early childhood program. And I said, it's okay, I'm gonna find you a place, don't worry. And she's like, but you don't understand, Rashida. I need a place that can feed my child twice a day. See, people need to understand that people's infrastructure, what it means when we talk about it, what the care economy, all that means, how it means to our lives, what it means to our lives, that we gotta think beyond just roads and bridges. Yes, they're important, but we gotta talk about the processes and structures that support our families. You know, when I went through CASTEC this sometime years ago, yes, and Senator Sanders met the youth there, he couldn't believe this. That we have a brand new built school and no clean drinking water out of the fountains. So when I think about the reconciliation process of people's infrastructure, I think about complete replacement of lead contaminated pipelines. That's it. Enough. You all know this is so important to our district, but no child should ever have no access to clean drinking water. And we also have to go deeper in that understanding that clean water and clean air is so interconnected to racial justice. You all know this. Wayne County hasn't met Clean Air Act standards in over 15 years, y'all. I mean, sulfur dioxide, the ozone, all of it. We haven't in 15 years. And Debbie knows this because she and I talk about this all the time. About time that we demand infrastructure that supports us getting access to clean air, and that means addressing our climate. And so it is so important, again, you all, many of you come from nonprofit organizations, you're on the ground talking to Black Club leaders, you know how it's done. And when Maxine Waters says housing is infrastructure, you need to explain to people what she means. Because you can't just talk about infrastructure and roads and outside of homes, you gotta talk about safe, healthy living homes, access to housing. All of that to say, this is why Senator Sanders is here. He needs our help, he needs our partnership to getting the word out to the American people, to all of our neighbors, and understanding reconciliation may be like a foreign object, but guess what? It is the pathway to the people's infrastructure, to the care economy. And President Biden is behind us. He is saying we want to build back better, right? And it's not just a slogan. If you think about every integral part of what he's proposing, it is the people's infrastructure, it is the care economy. And many of my colleagues here are going to talk about it. They're all working extremely hard and trying to make sure us as members of the Progressive Caucus, as members of communities that really need to go beyond just what we see before us from coming out from some colleagues, we need to push more. We have children all around us. They deserve a future, y'all. They deserve something better. And so I am so incredibly proud to be able to introduce one of my colleagues, my I always, they call us double trouble when we're both upset. But you know, you can't go through my district without going through Debbie Dingell's district. And so when you see us standing up in front of the refinery or AK Steel or in front of our schools or anything, I'll tell you, when the corporations see us talking together, I think they get a little scared, right? I think so, a little bit, right, Debbie? Yeah. So Debbie Dingell, who represents a lot of our neighboring Wayne County and Washtenaw County, she's here to talk about why the People's Infrastructure Build Back Better plan is so incredibly important to Michigan. With that, Debbie Dingell.
Thank you, Rashida. She is my sister. And anybody listening better know we are double trouble. But as they're marching in Washington today, the Voting Rights Act, we know how to get into good trouble. So, good afternoon. I can't tell you how great it is to be with Rashida, my colleague Sandy Levin. I want to thank the Eastside Community Network for hosting us. And I'm really happy to be here with the Michigan Environmental Justice Coalition, We the People of Detroit, and Michigan United, who are friends that I saw Metro Wayne back there too. You're all the nonprofits are here. I'm going to get in trouble. Rashida's going to give me the evil eye, if I start. But we work with so many of you, and I'm really glad to welcome the senator to Michigan today to talk about what we're going to do. And we're going to actually lose the word reconciliation because nobody knows what it means. And we're going to talk about Build Back Better plan because we need to. You know, yesterday we had the 6th once-in-a-lifetime storm in 7 weeks. It flooded again in my hometown. Bernie, 20,000 homes in my hometown have been flooded, damaged. Detroit, it's the same kind of numbers. Southfield was closed again. People came. The people in Dearborn Heights, the water goes to their first floor windows. Every time we have a storm, we're in tears. Asked us to come look again. Does anybody really want to say global climate change isn't real? It's here, and we got to get ready for it, and we got to do something about it. And the time is now. No more. We got to invest. We got to fix our damn roads. But we got to do a lot of other stuff. We got to. COVID shined a light on internet and how we don't have high-speed internet in the cities or in our urban areas. That needs to happen. But I also want to tell you, all right, we have Chrysler plant behind us. I am proud of the fact that Michigan put the world on wheels. Well, now Michigan's going to lead the world on reducing carbon emissions. Transportation, we are. It's time. Transportation is 30% of carbon emissions. I stood at the White House 3 weeks ago with the president when the car companies, believe it or not, the autos themselves, have set a target with the president, the environmentalists. I was there with the UAW, and we're going to target 50% sales of EVs by the year 2030. That's good. But you know what? It won't happen if we don't build out the infrastructure. We got to do that. That's going to be in this bill. But I want to talk about how 3 million women have left the work, have had to leave during COVID-19, the workplace. Why? I love the men. I love you all. But the fact of the matter is, women are the caregivers. We're the child caregivers. We're the older caregivers. We're sandwich generation. It is time in this country that we address that problem and take care of our children and our seniors. It's time. The Oxford Dictionary says infrastructure is processes or systems that support a country's efficient organization, running organization, or a company's. Okay, what's more important than making sure that our children and our seniors are taken care of? It is time. So we need to talk about it. We need to stop having people make us feel defensive. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity to make the difference. Can any of you imagine living without Social Security? Can any of you imagine living without Medicare? This is the next chapter in making sure we're taking care of our communities and people. So please help us teach America why we must build back better, and the time is now.
You see? She makes me look calm. Yes, she does. I love it. Now, next, you have to know, Senator, one day maybe, Representative Andy Levin is our champion, y'all. We have a Michigan delegation member that is on education and labor. And let me tell you, people forget, he used to literally run our state's labor department, employment and labor department. On our delegation calls, you have no one else that is so incredibly knowledgeable, a passionate advocate for those in the workforce. He knows what people's rights are in the workplace, but he also knows what's the backbone of our economy is building up our education system and accessibility. And so I know Representative Levin is passionate about pre-K and about community college being free and accessible. And again, I can't thank him enough. When I need help in trying to understand what is happening with our education and again, workforce, he is the person I lean on, and we are very, very blessed to have him as part of our Michigan delegation. With that, Andy Levin.